So my name is Nichole Rutherford, and I am the city manager for the city of Coos Bay. I am in the midst of month 7 in this role. I have been at the city for almost 10 years, coming up through the finance department ranks. So the city of Coos Bay, it's been a number of years. Initially contemplated a managed kind of campground, not our operational responsibility, of course, but partnering with an agency who was already working in our community. We found a right of way that was not in use that we felt like we could, that dead end, and we could kind of establish a space for a campground that would be 24/7 operated, managed by these folks. This same entity has a shelter facility, like almost like a one-stop, where they are kind of meeting the needs of the unhoused in our community. So that ranges laundry, showers. They have medical and mental health services, supports there, food, obviously all the things that these folks are looking for in their day-to-day. It is not a shelter facility other than warming center, but it is not 24/7. This new model that they proposed and that we were willing to help support to get it up off the ground was going to be 24/7 managed. The difference between those two sites is night and day, as I'm sure you can imagine. Coalbank Village, which is that 24/7 managed site, has, I believe, 22 pallet shelters in there. There are some of them that are designated for office space, kitchen space, but I think around 20-ish are living spaces. Folks get checked in. They go through a process to make sure that they're ready to, come in off of the streets and be in a space where they can start looking for what the next steps look like. So there is a little bit of vetting that happens there, but it is intentionally very low barrier. So if you're ready and there's a space, you get plugged in so that you can transition. The call load, if we are going to compare those two spaces, again, managed by the same entity, night and day, again, the calls that police are having to respond in that space where these folks are very intentionally deciding to come in off the streets and start working towards transitional lifestyle of, housing, employment, all of those things that we're very hopeful that we're working towards every day, versus just meeting that immediate need. That's what's happening at that other shelter, getting them some food, washing their clothes, those kinds of things. They're not plugging into that kind of wraparound next steps kind of thing. And that's what Coalbank Village is bringing. It is bringing an answer to the folks who are ready for what that next step looks like. So this is a new facility, so I can't say increase or decrease, but what I can say in comparison to the other facility that the same entity operates, it's like one is off the scale, and Coalbank is really just minimally requiring response, and usually those are kind of related to things that would happen in a regular apartment complex, some differing of opinions. You're going to have some people kind of maybe challenged a little bit, and so there's been a couple of minor arguments that the police have been called to and responded to, but we're able to kind of manage that because these folks are vetted of sorts. They're not coming in there with some of the challenges that might cause them, to misbehave. So drugs, alcohol, those kinds of things that can influence behavior that's less than appropriate in a group setting. There hasn't been the kind of calls that we have on a regular basis to the other center. So it's definitely a model that we are looking towards expansion of. I think the other thing that I'm happy to see is that not only are they hopeful, but they can see you know, maybe the side of humanity that they haven't seen being out on the streets. Like people can ignore them and not recognize that they're kind of suffering every day. And I think this facility and the interest to expand can show them that there are still people who see them and want them to plug back into community. So, you know, I would just say keep at it. It is a challenge. You know, you have some folks on both sides of the fence, those that can see the need and are willing to lend a helping hand. And then the people who are just not there yet, who have not come at this from a place of grace and recognizing that everybody's path is a little different and we're going to get there at different rates and different ways. And we're working through those people who are maybe less than satisfied with how we're addressing homelessness here in our community, but we keep at it. I'd like to think that with the right information, the people who don't see this as a solution will eventually get there. I think fear and anger come from a place of lack of information. And so we just keep talking. We keep talking about it. We keep answering the questions. We keep dealing with that, you know, one-on-one, big groups, whatever makes good sense for someone to see there is a need. And we as a community can meet that if we can kind of come together and solution together. So keep at it. Just have faith that you're going to get there. I mean, my biggest drive for this and the things that I would encourage people to think about is, while we still have kids who are uncertain where they are going to get their next meal and where they're going to sleep with their mom or their dad next, we have work to do. So until we get there, we have work to do.